Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that is the recording.
Order taken, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
So fast.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Just I'll open the verse. Just give me a minute. So I'm just opening up the video because the other, not the video, sorry, about the 1:10 verse. Just give me a minute. So this is in okay, so now it is there. I'm going to share the screen soon. Sorry about the delay here because today. Wait, can you see all my screen here?
Yes, Prabhuji. 1:10.
Okay, so let's recite. So I would say that somebody from the team would start recitation. Some volunteers.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please.
Yes.
We'll repeat after you.
प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्य
प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्य
कालौ अस्मिन् युगे जनाः
कलावस्मिन्
युगे जनाः
मन्दा सुमन्दमतयो
मन्दः सुमन्दमतयो
मन्दभाग्या हि उपद्रुतः
मन्दभाग्या हि उपद्रुतः.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Any other volunteer?
I can try, Prabhu.
Okay, Mataji.
प्रायेण अल्पायुषः सभ्यः
प्रायेण अल्पायुषः सभ्यः
कलावस्मिन् युगे जनाः
कलौ अस्मिन्
युगे जनाः
मन्द सुमन्दमतयो
मन्दसुमन्दमतयो
मन्दभाग्य हि उपद्रुतः.
मन्दभाग्या हि उपद्रुतः.
Hare Krishna.
So can you see my screen or this is paused? Okay, sure. For some reason it is actually paused. Okay, so let me see what is happening. Okay, another we can do another reading. I cannot see my own screen. Okay, you share. Okay, so let me go here. Can you see my screen again?
Prabhu.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so let me recite this one now. Prayena alpa ayushaha. Okay, let's do it again, like line by line. Prayena alpa ayushaha sabhya. Kalabasmin yuge janaha.
कलावस्मिन् युगे जनाः
Mandah sumandamatayo.
मन्दाः सुमन्दमतयो
Mandabhagya hi upadritaha.
मन्दभाग्य हि उपद्रुतः.
So let's read the translation and synonyms. First we read the synonyms. Any volunteer?
Prayena, almost always, alpa, meager, ayusha, duration of life, sabhya, member of a learned society, kalau, in this age of Kali, asmin, herein, yuge, age, janaha, the public, mandaha, lazy, sumandaha, matyaha, misguided, mandabhagyaha, unlucky, he, and all above, upadhrutaha, disturbed.
Thank you, Mataji. So it says about this particular verse says, as you have guessed, about the qualities of the Kali Yuga and what happens, what are the quality of the duration of life, and what is the state of the mind of people of Kali Yuga. So that this verse says. And if you see the previous verses of it, so there the assembly of sages are asking Sutta Goswami about telling about what is the ultimate goal of life, and he starts with this verse, that how it first he tells about the problem and then gives the solution. So this is how the problem in the Kali Yuga is there. So it says prayena, almost always it happens in the Kali Yuga. There is alpa means little, and ayusha means duration of life. So there are four things it talks about. So we'll discuss one by one. First one is alpayusha. Alpayusha is duration of life is less here at the most 100 years, but that is what in this Kali Yuga. But in previous yugas, the duration of life was quite long. Like in Satya Yuga, it was in some thousands of years, like 36 to like in thousands of years was there, and then every yuga this has gone down. This is the characteristics of this particular Kali Yuga, that we have like little duration of life. Even with that duration, we'll see in the purport how we are using that, why we are still getting less than what is the duration of life here. Then sabhya, of a membering of a, it says sabhya means a society, so we are a member of a society. The other problem is mandaha. So this mandaha term is not is slow actually. So manda is not talking about our activities that we do, because every day we are active, we are doing all our activities, but these are on the material platform. Manda is talking about activities on the spiritual platform. Sumandamatayo. And the next thing is sumandamata, means here sumandamata is misguidedness. Like even though one has the idea to go for spiritual consciousness, he is not guided properly. There is no proper guidance. There are some problems there. Mandabhagyaha. But even though that guidance is available, there are so many distractions that we are actually not able to use that in our life. So that is the unlucky nature of that. So that is the fourth one. And the fifth one is upadruta. Upadruta is disturbed. So these are five things which are there. One is alpayusha, then is mandaha, means laziness. Laziness in terms of knowing about the spiritual understanding, which is actually our real understanding of who we are, why we have taken birth, what is the goal of our human life. So we are lazy about that. That is what is being told about. We means people of Kali Yuga. And Sumandamata. And Kali Yuga started just after Krishna departed his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga. This particular Kali Yuga started at that time. Then Sumandamataya. And if you see that these sages are looking in the future, all these qualities which would be there in Kali Yuga, and they are compassionate about that they are worried. They're very much worried, and they want a solution for that. So now just read the translation and the purport, and then we'll discuss more. So any volunteer for the translation?
I can read.
Yeah, sure.
O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So it says in this iron age of Kali. So Prabhupada adds here, almost always but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, all those characteristics we say. So the misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So all these characteristics were, and now we will go into the purport and read paragraph by paragraph and discuss. So the first paragraph.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yeah, Mataji.
The devotees of the Lord are always anxious for the spiritual improvement of. One second, Prabhu, I can't see it.
Cannot see.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, let me see what happened. Should I share
I
it
can
again?
I can see Prabhu. I am on my phone, so
Oh, okay.
that's the problem. Yeah, let someone else, because it's covering some of the area. Somebody else can go.
Okay,
So,
please.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yeah.
The devotees of the Lord are always anxious for the spiritual improvement of the general public. When the sages of Sharnya analyze the state of affairs of the people in the age of Kali, they foresaw that men would live short lives. In Kali Yuga, the duration of life is shortened, not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. By keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain his health. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So in the first, it tells about how the devotees of the Lord are anxious about spiritual improvement. So why they are anxious? Because that is the real purpose of human life. So devotees of Lord are always anxious that one should have the spiritual improvement. And then so that's what sages of Naimisharanya is analyzing the state of affairs, which is going to happen in future. And they were worried looking at the future. So first thing Prabhupada here mentions is the duration of life is shortened, not so much because of insufficient food. So there is no problem of the insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. So we have to understand this is another reason why the duration of life is shorter. Still, we have shorter life, but we make it still shorter using these problems, like for example, by keeping, and then what solution he gives is if we keep our regular habits and eat simple food, any man can maintain his health. But on the contrary, what we see is overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy. So that is more there, and the artificial standards of living. So all those things are taking the vitality of from our day-to-day life. So again, that 100 years is also not completed because of that. Even you can imagine this is happening, like we have done up to like how many years in Kali Yuga? Like first 5,000 years has been passed, and there are like more years to go for. So imagine like this is happening now. So what would be in the future? But I'll tell you, I'll keep you with a very good note after this, that there is a very good characteristics of Kali Yuga also. So let's read the second paragraph. Any volunteer?
In this age, men are victims not only. Is that the second one, Prabhu? That
Yeah. The people of this age.
Above one.
oh, yeah, the people of this age are also very lazy, not only materially but in the matter of self-realization. The human life is especially meant for self-realization. That is to say, man should come to know what he is, what the world is, and what the supreme truth is. Human life is a means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of the hard struggle for life in material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. But due to a bad system or education, men have no desire for self-realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victims of misguided teachers. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So that is very, very nicely being told. And we, as we discussed, people, if these are very lazy, not only materially, so material laziness, some people may not agree, but even material laziness is also there. But in the matter of self-realization also, Prabhupada makes it a point here. And the human life is especially meant for self-realization. Why? That's why we have to, that is to say that man should come to know what he is and what the world is. So that understanding of his own self and why he has come into this world, and that is the first verse also we discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, is to know all different like creation, what are the creations of the world, why I am here, what is my relation with the Supreme Lord. So all those supreme truth, that supreme absolute truth, one needs to know. So human life is a means by which living entity can end all the miseries of hard struggle. So that's the only way. Any other form of life, we don't, that consciousness is not there. Even though there is some kind of consciousness that you see living, other living entities, they are also there having consciousness, but it is covered so much that they cannot understand about their own self and thinking about that what miseries they are going through. So only in human form of life we can understand that. So that's how it is said. Other living entities cannot do. So our ultimate goal is to go back to Godhead, our eternal home, or develop love for the supreme absolute truth, that is Supreme Lord. But again, due to bad association or bad education, because the thing is that our education, why it's called bad, because it is only materially oriented. There is no spiritual education to us. So that's why it says bad system of education, Prabhupada says here. Even if they come to know about it, there are people who interpret the spiritual thing in a very different way, so that we don't understand the correct understanding. We don't have the correct understanding. So that's what it says. That's why it says misguided teachers. So let's go to the next paragraph, and then we can have questions.
I can try, Prabhu.
Yeah, Mataji. Now you can see, Mataji?
Yes, yes. In this age, men are victims not only of different political creeds and parties, but also of many different types of sense gratificatory diversions, such as cinema, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad association, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickerings, and so on. Their minds are always disturbed and full of anxieties due to so many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous men manufacture their own religious faiths which are not based on any revealed scriptures, and very often people who are addicted to sense gratification are attracted by such institutions. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried on that the people in general have neither peace of mind nor health of body. The student brahmachari communities are no longer being maintained, and householders do not observe the rules and regulations of the grahastha ashram. Consequently, the so-called vanaprasthas and sannyasis who come out of such grahastha ashrams are easily deviated from the rigid path. In the Kali Yuga, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with faithlessness. Men are no longer interested in spiritual values. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. For the maintenance of such material civilizations, men has formed complex nations and communities, and there is a constant strain of hot and cold wars between these different groups. It has become very difficult, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard due to the present distorted values of human society. The sages of Naimisharanya are anxious to disentangle all fallen souls And here they are seeking the remedy from Srila Sutta Goswami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for this. And this paragraph is obvious. I think everybody has some kind of experience of what Prabhupada is talking about here. Even like, as I was saying, that only that is not the only thing, that misguidedness is also not there, but we are also carried into so many different types of sense gratification diversions, which don't allow us to go to the spiritual, even if we get a bona fide spiritual environment, but we cannot focus. Why? Because of these diversions, the cinema, the sports, the gambling, the clubs, the mundane libraries, bad associations, smoking, all these things, which Prabhupada mentioned, cheating, pilfering, bickering is telling bad things about others, like those kind of things. So that's why minds are always disturbed. Why they are disturbed? Because all these activities have their inherent disturbance in it, because they are sense gratificatory. So anything related to the senses would be on the modes of nature, and when there is different modes of nature, it will definitely have impact on the mind, as we discussed. And that's why we are full of, the people are full of anxiety due to many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous, when he says, manufacture their own religious faiths, which are not based on any revealed scriptures. The other thing which is more common here is that there are so many religious beliefs which have come, which are not based on any of revealed scriptures. So that revealed scriptures means the scriptures that have no start or end, which are revealed, which are not made by someone. Just a minute. There is a knock. I think my daughter is doing that. Okay, sure. Oh. So these kind of problems. Now, this is also another problem with Kali Yuga. You have these disturbances. So what I'm saying is, so consequently, in the name of religion, there are many sinful acts being carried out. So, and then Prabhupada talks about the different ashramas being not strictly followed. And when the different rules are not followed of different ashramas, like starting from brahmachari ashram to grihastha ashram, so then there is a problem when we transition to the vanprastha or sannyas ashram, because the disturbance is still there. So that's what Prabhupada is talking about. And he ends like saying that the sages of Naimisharanya are very anxious to disentangle. Means they wanted all the fallen souls like us to come back to the spiritual consciousness. So they are so much worried. So that's why they are inquiring to Srila Sutta Goswami. The good news about this, as I was going to finish this one, and then we'll have discussion, is that even in this age of Kali, we have one very good thing, which Srimad Bhagavatam we would see in later chapters, in 12th chapter. It says that if we only chant the holy name of the Lord, by that we can actually achieve the highest perfection. Offenselessly, if we can chant holy name of the Lord, that is the biggest benefit. In different yogas, it was not the case. There were different ways of achieving the supreme truth. To achieve the supreme truth was there, but here we can easily do it. So that is what the benefit of Kali Yuga, because we have these kind of problems, those 5 problems that we discussed. What are the 5 problems we discussed? First is Alpayusha, then is Manda. Manda means lazy to know about the spiritual related knowledge. And then the third one is Manda, Sumanda Mataya. And then the next thing is Sumanda Mataya. It means is that we have been looking at, even though if we have interest, we are misguided. And if we get somehow to the spiritual realization, still there are distractions. That is Manda Bhagya. Our Bhagya is also Manda, means we are unlucky. And then Upadruta, and there we are having so many disturbances from different things. That's what it is described here. So we can discuss and take some questions here. Or we can get some more realization coming from any volunteer participants. Or it is very obvious and very clear. So that's another way of seeing that, oh, this is all clear.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes.
Uh, just a second. Here it is written over dependence. Somewhere it is written. What is the meaning of that over dependence on another mercy?
This one, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So over dependence on another's mercy, we can see it this way, like we can do so many things on our own, but we are still, I mean, own means we have that understanding within us, and we can take shelter of people who can guide us through. But still, we don't go that route. Instead, we go to a different route and wait for that mercy. That mercy means that is not real mercy. That is like, for example, we are using lot of the material resources for our own thing, and we are dependent on their mercy. Means we are more dependent on material resources. You understand what I'm talking about? There is, when there is over sense gratification, I am dependent. Like, for example, I'll say I cannot do without mobile phones. I cannot do without this house, or I cannot do without, if I don't have a big job or a big car or something like that. So that over dependence comes now on another's mercy. Another's mercy is now here. Mercy is the external factors. We are having more that we are getting more from the nature, and we are totally entangled in that external energy of the Lord because of over sense gratification. That's what it says here. And that's why our next step is artificial standards of living. All those things, when we are there, then our very vitality of the human energy is taken care of. Because if you are over dependent on anything, Ati sarvatra gariyase, it has been said in Shastra. So wherever we are over dependent, that actually takes all our energy in that.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, if anybody has another thoughts, they can also tell, yeah, on this question. That's what the understanding is. Any other discussion points or questions? Otherwise, we can then move to the next part, which is the bhajan, Vaishnav bhajan. Okay, Nitai Navani Prabhu, so take it over.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, unshare it. Yeah.
This bhajan is from the Sharanagati book of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyare Sagar, Idasi Koruna Kori.
O he
Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori.
O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyare Sagar, Idase Koruna Kori.
O he Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori.
दिया पद छाया शुद्ध ही माया तुम्हार चरण धरी. Diya
Paraya Tomara Charana Dhori.
Translation. O Venerable Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna, O ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet.
Chaya begadomi, chaya dosha shodhi, chaya guna deho dati. Chaya
Chaya Bigadomi Chaya Dosha Shodi Chaya Guna Deho Dase
Chaya satasanga deho he amar Boshechi shangera hashi.
Chaya Satasangam Deho Amar Boschi Sangera She.
Somebody can read the translation.
Teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. Thank you.
You can read this extra information which is talking about the 6 passions. The 6 passions are those pertaining to words, the mind, anger, the tongue, the stomach, and the genitals. The 6 faults are overeating, attachment to things, inability to follow regulative principles, sense gratification, useless idle thoughts, and impure habits. The 6 positive qualities are enthusiasm in practicing devotional service, firm faith in devotional process, a strong desire to attain prem bhakti, a favorable service attitude, avoidance of non-devotees, and appreciation of the company of devotees. The 6 methods of association are go to an assembly of devotees, to invite devotees into one's home, to discuss and hear devotional topics, to take the Mahaprasad of devotees, and to offer Mahaprasad. हमार नाही पाए बार हरि नाम संकीर्तने
Ekati Amara Nahi Paya Harinama Sankirtane.
तुमी कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम धानी
তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম
Somebody can read.
I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me just one drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
कृष्णा से तोमार कृष्णा दीते पार तोमार शक्ति आछे
कृष्ण से
Krishna se Tomara Krishna Dite Paro Tomara Shakti Ache.
आमी तो कंगला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली आमी तो कंगला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली धाई तव पाछे पाछे
আমি তো কাঙ্গালা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ
Krishna Krishna
বলি
Bole
ভাই তব
Naito Kangala Krishna
পাছে
Krishna Bole Naita Pache Pache.
Krishna is yours. Go ahead, Mataji.
You have the power to give him to me. I'm simply your servant, running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna.
Oh, hey,
Krishna is.
Thakur. Sorry, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry.
One second.
Can you scroll little up, Prabhu? Yeah. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I am simply your servant, running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Oh, hey, Vaishnava Thakur. Doyar Sagar. Sidase Koruna Kori.
Oh,
Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Dase Karuna Kori.
Anybody else would like to read the translation?
Actually, Prabhu, at the very end, in the extra information, there are many things that are mentioned there. What is it? If we have that one thing, everything else sooner or later will come to us.
Association.
That one thing, if it is there within us, everything else sooner or later comes to us.
The desire, a strong desire.
A strong desire to attain prema bhakti. Yeah. Because of that desire, we tend to give away whatever that is not conducive to it. And we tend to cultivate everything that is conducive to it. So everything else follows that desire. And how do we get that strong desire?
by serving the Vaishnavas, Vaishnav Thakur.
Yeah, who has that strong desire?
Yeah, by associating with them. So that's why the fourth, Krishna said, Tumar Krishna dite paro. Krishna is yours and you can give Krishna to me. So I should go and be under your feet, on your shelter, so that I can get Krishna. So that's what he is.
Right. Yeah. So we are now under the shelter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He has that. So, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Shall we, Prabhu? Pause here now. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jaya.
Yeah.
Vaishnava Thakura ki jaya. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jaya. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.